What's up, guys? It's Tombox. You welcome to MST.TV, and you guys have requested this profile from me. I don't even know why you guys request this profile from me. I didn't show exactly a lot of interest on Orcust, but I did pull a playset in that Judge Pack opening video. So, you know what? I'll do you guys one better. I'll do a budget profile for once. You know, full budget. But let me lay down some ground rules here. Unless there's a key card in there that's essential to the combo, that card might not be as budget. It's actually one card in the extra deck or something that's not budget. But aside from that, everything else should be budgeted from what you see right here. And I also have a side deck for you guys. This side deck is gonna smoke screen. People are not gonna expect it because every now and then at my locals, we do like a non-meta tournament, and you get frowned upon if you go play meta in that tournament. It is a true locals. It is registered and everything, but you play something like Sky Striker or you play something like Goki's in there, oh man, everyone's just gonna shun you for the rest of the day. So, don't want to be that guy, so I decided to go with this. Next week, that's what's coming up, so this is the build I'm gonna go with, and well, let's get started. I know you guys give me a lot of flack for like, oh, your budget profiles are not really budget Tombox, and you know what? Yeah, my budget's not your budget. My budget is I throw money at the game. So, you know what? Let's get started with this profile. We got our main deck. We have Harp Horror. You have to play 3 of this. So the entire Orcust deck is made up of effects that activate in the graveyard that's special summon. Orcust Harp Horror summons out from the deck if you banish it, and a lot of it is about resource management and just controlling your Orcust monsters in the graveyard. So you just activate this during your turn, or if you have the field spell, you can activate during your opponent's turn. And one of the main combos of this deck is that you make Topologic and Longrisu and just endlessly nuke the board. Your Infinite Dark Hole is one of the key combos here. Then we run triple of a Skeletor. No, so this is one of your key component monster here because what he does is he acts as a monster reborn for your Orcust cards. So you just banish this one and you can target another Orcust monster in your graveyard, special summon it back onto the field. And with the field spell, again, all Orcust monsters become quick effects. Yeah, and the only card that you can't revive is yourself. And we run 1 copy of the Honk Horn, which is Brass Bombard. He's also a tuner. You know, rest in peace, Christian Needle Fiber. We don't have him yet, so I guess we don't really get to abuse that. But nonetheless, it's going to be very difficult for you to use Needle Fiber anyway, because if you do special summon most of your dudes, you're locked into Dark. So there's a couple of ruling things I do want to talk about regarding this deck, because even I forget sometimes, and it's stuff due to the extra deck. Now, in terms of the World Legacy cards, we have World Legacy Wand. We run 2 of this. So, this one summons from hand. This one summons from the banish pile. Although, you can't really use the field spell to make this a quick effect, but this is one of your extenders, and it's very easy to kind of go into this and just extend your combo even further. And you can throw this into the graveyard using the spell card to get additional draws. Now, for the key combo starters, we have triple Armageddon Knight. Armageddon Knight plus one of your Orcust monsters, mainly Harp Horror or the Skeleton. You can combo. It's a 2-card combo to get things set up. Armageddon Knight is just a very easy access because you want to toss your guys into the graveyard anyway. And I'll show you guys 1 combo, and then you guys can figure out how to move around from there. I play 1 copy of Dark Grepher because I do run the wand, and if you have the wand and Dark Grepher, you can normal Grepher and then ditch the wand to ditch another card, which would normally be the Harp Horror. You can just go off and do the same combo. The combos variants are basically the same. You have 2 boss monsters that you go into. Once one of them dies, you go into the other one. Now, for my particular variant, I am running triple Malicious because Malicious is also a dark monster. Remember that you're locked into dark, so all my cards are going to be dark unless it's a hand trap. So Malicious just lets you extend. You play the Topologic series, and Malicious just gives you that extra body. Malicious counts as 2 bodies. And one funny thing that you can do with this is you can give this to your opponent with a particular card in the extra deck. It's pretty funny. For hand traps, I'm playing Ghost Ogre Snow Rabbit. At the time of making this video, this was 15 and under. My budget variant is that if it's a hand trap, you can usually go a little bit higher, but if we're gonna go with 15 and under, we're gonna go with Ghost Ogres. This is the easiest one to play with. Unfortunately, not the best for most matchups, but it can be very useful at removing some of the annoying threats, especially those threats coming from Altergeist. Hate that deck. Now we have a pair of Veilers. They are budget impermanences, like $1 versus $80. I don't know. You guys do the math. Just negate a card on the field. Unfortunately, you can't activate on your own turn, but on your own turn, you should be able to play under most circumstances. Unless you get like floodgated by a floodgate monster like Vanity's Fiend. One Rhoda, dig out the Armageddon Knight. One Foolish Burial, because you can throw almost any of the earlier mentioned targets into the graveyard. Now for extenders, we have one Monster Reborn and one World Legacy Succession. This is $12 at the time, so if it's like $20 now, I'm sorry. You don't have to run this. You can run Soul Charge for all I care, because you really can't do much damage and attack on the turn that you really set up your Topologic combo. So you can switch it with a Soul Charge. I just like this because it's just Monster Reborn, has no cost to my life, and I don't like playing into time. But Monster Reborn can really push the combo a lot further, and same with this World Legacy Succession. Now into the Orcust cards, one of the key cards here, the Field Spell Orcust Babel. This is the Field Spell. Field Spell lets you, I believe, change your effects into quick effects. So yeah, all the activated effects in your graveyard or link monsters that you control, they become quick effects. So yeah, really amazing stuff. You get to spam cards during your opponent's turn. You can defend. You can play during your opponent's turn with this particular card. And if it's in the graveyard, you can send a card from your hand to the graveyard and add this card back, which is actually pretty amazing because of the fact that you can ditch like a Malicious into the grave, a World Legacy Wand. There's just lots you can do. Draw Engine card, only 2 copies of this because you can actually search this card and you can only activate one of them per turn. It's basically a D-draw. Send any Orcust or World Legacy monster from your hand or face up on the field to the graveyard to draw 2 cards. The sending is a cost and you're limited to once per turn. Galatea in the extra deck can fetch this card out, which is amazing. I'm running 2 copies of Einsatz. I really like this card. I hate it when I don't have it. This card, whenever your opponent normal special summons a monster, you get the Foolish Burial and throw into the graveyard a Orcust or World Legacy card or monster from the deck to the grave. Yeah, you can only activate one per turn, but if you have the Field Spell plus this, it means you can chump block a lot of hits and set up combos for yourself. Or even like if you have a Topologic already set up, you can get yourself a nice board nuke thanks to this card being up. Twin Twister really sucks because it'll hit both your Field Spell and this card, and yeah, you can't really recover on that turn. Your turn becomes stalled. For Draw Engine, of course, I also run Triple Allure of Darkness because they're all dark, and I can revive stuff from the banish pile. It doesn't really hurt me that much. And so kind of a stable call, but the grave don't want to get Ash Blossom. Normally want to stop the Ash Blossom from hitting your Harp Horror because that's one of your main targets. You're not afraid of a lot of floodgates because you're mainly running a single attribute, single type deck, which is to your benefit, I suppose. And as for one tech card in here that's still within my budget range, we have Super Poly. Super Poly, your entire deck is dark. Starving Venom Fusion Dragon is an easy dead giveaway. And yeah, that's what you can do with this. As for, because we are playing budget, and I've never been a fan of like an OCD type build, I play Floodgates in the main build. I play Triple Goals in match because you're locked into only playing darks. You might as well just lock your opponent into playing whatever attribute they can. If you're playing Goki, they have Earth, but they can't go into their extra deck. Sky Strikers can't go into their extra deck. It's an auto lose for them if they just can't get out of this because they can't even summon a monster. They summon a monster that are crushed. So you can use this against Thunder Dragon as well. Might not be 100% effective against Thunder Dragon, especially if they just play the fusion and then they go into the big boy, the big titan, and then they go ditch and pop. Nothing you can really do about that. However, you can prevent them from going to Colossus. Even though Colossus doesn't even hurt you, can just like Super Poly off their Colossus if that became an issue. Yeah, and you don't really need to search out of the deck because most of your search effects, you have one Rhoda, and yeah, that's about it. Oh, you actually have No, you don't even stop Galatea. Galatea searches straight from the deck. That goes to show how much I know about this deck. But that would be the main deck. And on towards the extra deck. The extra deck, there is one card in here that I find very essential because it is very good for comboing. But first off, let's start off with the main monster here. Galatea, the Orcust Automaton. If this card is linked, by definition of linked, here's a refresher. The monster that points to something and the monster being pointed to, if you are pointing to something, you are linked, and if you're being pointed to, you are linked. That's the definition of linked, not co-linked, just linked. You cannot be destroyed by battle. That's it. That's a really good effect. 1800 beat stick, but what's really amazing about her is that you can shuffle back in one of your banished machine type monsters. I believe it has to be a dark machine or something. Nope, just machine. And you can set straight onto the field one of your Orcust spells and traps. So you can set the draw card. Mainly you want to get the field spell. If you get the field spell, that will give you additional pluses, and besides, it's a plus at the moment she comes out. And these cards can be revived by the Skeletor. So yeah, that's what makes them so amazing. And then linked is pretty easy. And next up, Longrisu. So Ningrisu decided to go evil, decided to go, hey, I'm gonna join the forces of evil. And yeah, and now he can send linked cards to the graveyard. So this is an ignition effect. However, with the field spell, you can activate this during your opponent's turn. Same with Galatea. If the field spell is up, you can actually fetch another card during your opponent's turn as well, if you can get the field spell onto the field. So you can actually set your draw card, you can set your Einsatz, which lets you we'll get another Foolish Barrow in the later turn. It's a lot of speed, I think, and this deck does have pretty good recursion. Longrisu, on the other hand, if this card is linked, cannot be destroyed by card effects, so whatever it points to or whatever it points to it's very good, so you can actually manipulate zones. What I like to do with Longrisu is that I like to put him, like, over here. Even though he's not co-linked to Topologic Bomber, I don't get why people want to co-link it. I see it online all the time. They co-link it with Topologic Bomber Dragon, and I'm like, no, I'm going to link it over here. Say Topologic was like right here. This will be right here. So then whenever my opponent goes into that extra monster zone, I can go Longrisu, send that to the grave, and just get rid of it. I just don't want to deal with it. So you can actually affect that particular zone. I find that more important than anything else. Yeah, so Longrisu, you can just send 2 of your banished machines back into the deck, and you can shuffle. Yeah, you shuffle them into the deck, and then you can proceed to send a link monster from your opponent controls to the graveyard. You can't send your own cards, unfortunately, which could be a good thing. And as for the combo pieces, Link Karibo is one of your key link combo pieces, and the card that is not budget right now, but will be budget very soon, Summon Sorceress. She's confirmed as a reprint already, so don't give me too much flack. And as for you guys in the EU, you guys are soon going to get this card anyway, which is in December, which is a special ed super. So she's going to be very important because she lets you get pluses. If you don't use her, you can still get to the same combo. It costs you more resources. This is just really cheap. Link Karibo is needed for the brass, so the honk horn, you need to go into that to get a free monster and a free bot and a free summon. So these are the key monsters here, and of course the other 2 key monsters, your bosses, you have Topologic Bomber Dragon and you have an Orcustrian. This guy, you really make him after Topologic Bomber dies, because Topologic Bomber controls the field very well. And ruling note guys, remember that whenever Topologic blows up the board, only Topologic Bomber Dragon can attack. Every other monster cannot attack, which means if you revive stuff with Longrisu, can't attack. There's a limitation to that stuff. But Longrisu also has an effect that doesn't let it attack, which is the one that sends the card to the graveyard. Just keep that in mind. There's 2 things that prevents Longrisu from attacking, and one's Topologic Bomber Dragon, and then there's Orcustrian. This guy, he's a 3k beat stick. With the field spell, he's really amazing, but you really want him outwards and pointing, and hopefully you can also get, you have him on this side, and then you can put a Longrisu like this. You have them they're not co-linked, but you affect the zone right here, and then you also block off your opponent's zones on the other side as well. So your opponent really just don't want to use your link zones, because whatever that you opened up gets affected. So anyways, as for utility cards, remember that everything needs to be dark and needs to be within budget. We have Trisbana. This thing was like 10 bucks at the time. And then we also have Witch's Apprentice. Now, when you have Topologic Bomber Dragon and you need to recover a few cards, then you can stay away from the Topologic Bomber Dragon and then link into Witch's Apprentice. Let her die and then let her fetch a card. There's also Trisbana. This card, it's a bit iffy because you will nuke out your own spells. However, if you're playing against like a deck that sets everything, like everything, you can go into Trisbana and then you can nuke it on your opponent's turn once. You can do an end phase nuke, which is not bad. As for everything else, they're just utility here. Akashic is just a filler. Decode is just a filler. Underclock Taker is just a filler. And a fun filler here is if you really want to go for the OTK, you happen to have the ability to go into an OTK, then you can go ahead and use like Seize Rebellion. You can just like have the attack and just swing for massive damage. And the final card for the Super Poly, we have Starving Venom Fusion Dragon, because Starving Venom Fusion Dragon is just really cheap to make, just 2 dark monsters. And if your opponent is playing Pendulum Magicians, they're playing Thunder Dragons, they're playing Mirror Match, you can use this. Although it's not likely that you're going to be playing against a I guess at a budget day or like a non-meta day, you're going to be playing against any of the high tier stuff. And for side deck, I usually don't show you guys a side deck because what's the point, but since it's budget day, guess what? I get to show you guys a side deck that I prepared for my deck. They said that I can smokescreen into anything. And how do you smokescreen Orcust into any other deck? You're locked into dark. Well, I've got news for you. I am a budget Orcust deck, and my smokescreen is to the non-budget Orcust deck. Starting off with the deck interaction counter, we have Ash Blossom Joyous Spring. I have triple Ghost Bell just to handle all the grave interactions, and next to take care of the board and to showcase how strong the topologic play is, I've got Evenly Matched just to level the playing field so that they can experience the topologic play at full capacity. This card will just wipe them out, and the topologic is really the win condition taking care of the problem. And for my Veilers in the deck that can't interact in my own turn, well, let's change that up. They're upgraded to Infinite Impermanence now. They've gone Super Saiyan. And to prevent targeting of my topologic Bomber Dragon, Seravis, the Ancient and Ascended will stop that. And finally, to stay within the budget, I have myself my budget Dino Wrestler Pankratops. So overall, still not breaking the rules. I'm definitely gonna win because everyone's not gonna expect any of those cards. Okay, I'm just messing with you guys. Most of these cards were actually from my Thunder Dragon main deck, and some of it from the side deck. But if you guys want to talk about side deck, I would say the Gozen's already main decked. That's kind of already really good. But if you need stuff to stop your opponent, you need to stop Imperial Iron Wall, so you need like Spell Trap removal, Typhoons, Twin Twisters. You can play Raigeki, Mirror Force, all the basic usual suspects. I find the Needle Sealing is actually quite useful right now. You can also run a set of Kaijus. Run the set of Kaijus because they're just going to be able to stop a lot of things. Hey guys, if you guys have noticed down beside the subscription button, there's a join button, and for those of you guys who are my Patreons, you guys don't have to worry too much about it unless you really want to switch over to that. And I'm going to be working on my channel membership. YouTube let me turn on channel membership, and I'm like super grateful for that, as some of you guys don't have yours turned on or don't have the eligibility, and I'm below the eligibility, to be honest, but they let me turn it on, so I got that. So if you guys want to support me, I think it's like a $5 subscription. There's going to be emotes, there's going to be channel tags and all that's really fun stuff, and I'll make sure that you guys get the same Patreon exclusive benefits as well, with proxies and line cuts. And that being said, let's go into the combo now. So starting things off, we have like 3 random cards, which are the 3 Gozens, because they don't influence the match very much, and they could be anything. But for now, 3 Gozens means 3 of anything for now. If you open with 1 Gozen, it's really good. So the combo is a variation of the same stuff over and over again. So we're gonna start off with Armageddon Knight normal summon. I'm gonna summon out here. Effect, we're gonna send into the graveyard Brass Bombard, our little honk horn. So from this point, we're going to banish the honk horn. Let's put it right here. We banish the honk horn, special summon out the Orcust Heart Pourer. At this point, we link both of these together, and we go into our Galatea. Galatea, does it really matter which direction you put it? I'm gonna put it right there. Okay, and now we're going to banish the Heart Pourer, and we're gonna summon out the Skeletor. So Skeletor gets summoned out. It doesn't really matter. You can keep like the battle protection if you really want it that way. Okay, so now at this particular moment, you can technically use her effect. I'm just not going to, because I really want to get a little bit further in the combo. You can go ahead and link her off, because both of them were machines. You can go into Summon Sork. Now they have Summon Sork. Alright, that's pretty awesome. Summon Sork's available now. You can use the effect of Skeletor banish. I'm gonna call it skeleton. It's symbol skeleton, and you can summon out Galatea into a zone that she points to. Make sure it points to it, because without that, it's going to suck. And now you can use Galatea's effect to put one of your cards back. I tend to like to put back something that is, I guess, kind of useless, like the brass horn. You can put that one back. And now you can set onto the field one of your spells and traps. And the card I'm going to go for is the field spell. If you have the field spell, go for something else. Get the field spell set. And now you have 2 cards that are still banished. You still have a 3-card hand right here. Now you can use Summon Sork's effect, targeting the Galatea for Machine. Now you've already burned all the effects of all your cards except for one. One machine is still unused. That is the World Legacy World Wand. And at this point, you can activate this Orchestrated Babble, and you can proceed to link off most of your cards. You can go with the Galatea first if you want. I think that's a fine choice. Let's go link her off, and we get ourselves our Longrisu right here. And then we can banish the World Wand to special summon out the Harp Horror. So you can summon out the Harp Horror basically anywhere because you're going to link it off. And you're going to link off Summon Sork. And you're going to point it with a Topologic Bomber Dragon. So now you have Topologic Bomber Dragon and you have a linked Longrisu. Topologic is linking this, and this card is pointing here. So if your opponent goes into this zone, you can use Longrisu to get rid of it because Topologic will not be able to blow it up. So this way you got full coverage on popping stuff, and you have 2 cards to pop to actually get rid of that particular monster. And if you want to nuke the board, you have actually a long line of options. I believe you can nuke the board multiple times. You can go into the Harp Horror, and then you can summon into one of these zones, and then you'll pop. And it's basically an endless loop of doing this stuff over and over again. Now, when you do get into, say you don't use Harp Horror, but instead you revive the Symbol Skeleton, what you can do is this. So say this was still banished, and you have Symbol Skeleton in the graveyard. You can activate Symbol Skeleton, if you want to nuke the board, and go into Galatea. Galatea is also linked. This will trigger off Topologic Bomber Dragon. However, Galatea being a quick effect with the field spell, you can activate Galatea's effect to shuffle back one of these cards. So that you can put one of these cards back. And then you can go into add this, the draw card. You can go ahead and put Einsatz onto the field. In other words, when you pop with Topologic Bomber Dragon and you want to use the, if you're mainly just using the Symbol Skeleton to pop a card, go with Galatea so that you can actually fetch back more advantage. And there you have it. That's the combo. If you guys enjoyed this video, hit me up with a thumbs up. If you guys want to see more stuff from MST.TV, I can't believe you guys made me do this Orcust profile. This is something that I listen to you guys. And now I guess I've done it, and I guess I'll be playing non-meta day. Without that crazy side deck, I'm sorry guys, I couldn't help myself. And if you guys want to check out the membership stuff, I'm working on it. I'm going to work on the loyalty tags, I'm going to work on the emotes and all that fun stuff. And that means the sooner that thing kicks off, the more likely that you're going to see a stream on MST.TV. And that is all I got for you guys today. So if you guys enjoy it, and I guess now I will proceed to the end phase.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you like this video, please drop us a like so we know we are doing a good job, and you can also subscribe to MST.TV for more fantastic videos by clicking on the button on the left. Don't forget to check out our partners at Imperium Duelist. They make really high quality mats, including some of my own limited edition release stuff. And if you want to check out one of our past videos, click here on the right. As always, don't forget to hold on to your MST.TV, and I'll see you next time.